With the excitement from the announcement of Pokémon Sun and Moon finally sinking in and the anticipation for the newest generation of Pokémon games increasing by the day, something I thought would be really fun to look at while we wait for new information regarding these games is to take a look at 10 new Pokémon concept designs that could be introduced in these games that are set for release later on this year. Going off the presumption that Pokémon Sun and Moon are very likely to be based or set in Hawaii or another tropical region, there's a lot of Pokémon that could potentially be introduced that would fit in with the whole tropical region theme and also fit in with the ancient lore of Hawaii. I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to begin this list by taking a look at a potential dolphin Pokémon. With Pokémon Sun and Moon very likely being set in a tropical region just based off concept artwork that was shown in the very first Pokémon Sun and Moon reveal teaser trailer, I personally would find it amazing if they introduced a dolphin Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. There's an abundance of water-type Pokemon, however, dolphins have seemingly been ignored, and Pokemon Sun and Moon could potentially be the best time to introduce a dolphin Pokemon into the Pokemon series. Number 9 on this list, a swordfish Pokemon. An animal I've always had a bit of a soft spot for is swordfish. Swordfish just look totally badass and also absolutely terrifying. So next up on this list, I'd really like to see a swordfish Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. This idea by Sasaya on DeviantArt, I'm so sorry if I've pronounced your name incorrectly, is utterly fantastic. The armored look is so cool and it captures the idea I have for a swordfish Pokemon perfectly. Now you might be thinking that this list is going to be just totally full of water type Pokemon. It's not. Let's take a look at something just a little bit different. Next up at number 8, I want a wallaby Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Bit of a fun fact, due to the escape of a pair in 1916, a small breeding population of brush-tailed rock wallabies also exists on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. I've probably butchered that pronunciation. Wallabies don't just exist in Australia. And if the new games' region is based on Hawaii, I think it'd be so cool if they referenced this fun little bit of trivia by introducing wallaby Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And this concept design by Tasty Carrots on DeviantArt captures the vision I have for a wallaby Pokemon absolutely perfectly. In my personal opinion, a fighting type wallaby Pokemon would be absolutely amazing. Number 7 on this list, another manta ray Pokemon. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Mantine. Damn it, another water type Pokemon though on this list. I swear this is the last one. So at this point we're going to take a look at a concept design of a manta ray Pokemon. And once again, I haven't forgotten about Mantine. But this design in particular by Zasaya on DeviantArt, once again I'm so sorry if I've butchered your name, is absolutely fantastic. It combines a manta ray with a swordfish. Swordfish I've already spoken about on this list. And what you're seeing on screen right now makes for an absolutely fantastic trio of manta ray, swordfish fusion Pokemon. Okay, no more water type Pokemon on this list. I just wanted to get them out of the way very early on. Number 6 on this list, I'd like a feral donkey Pokemon. So feral donkeys are a species that are native to Hawaii, and we're the only Pokemon that even closely resemble horses or donkeys being introduced all the way back in Generation 1 with Ponyta and Rapidash. I think Generation 7 would be the perfect time to introduce a feral donkey Pokemon, especially with all the theories that suggest that the region from Pokemon Sun and Moon could be based on Hawaii. I think this design in particular by Sarul Bao of DeviantArt is really original and unlike anything we've ever seen before in Pokemon, but it still maintains the cartoonish aspect that makes Pokemon Pokemon. Bit of an odd concept for a Pokemon, but it's something I'd really like to see. Number 5 on this list, a red-crested Cardinal Pokemon. Okay, maybe a bit of a cheap point, seeing as how we've already seen a concept 3D model of what could be a red-crested Cardinal / Woodpecker Pokemon. But I personally can't wait to see the direction that the art team for Pokemon Sun and Moon go in with this Pokemon. In Generation 6, we were given a really awesome set of flying-type Pokemon with the Fletchling evolution line. It was viable for use not only in the in-game story, but also in competitive battles. And I'd love it if the early game flying type Pokemon for this generation was too. Tiny bit of a cheap point, I get that, but yeah. Number 4 on this list, a Warthog Pokemon. There's already an abundance of Pokemon that are based off pigs in the Pokemon universe. For example, the Tepig evolution line, Grumpig, but a Warthog Pokemon like you're seeing on screen right now would be something that would be really original in my eyes. It's a stark contrast to the tropical Hawaiian theme that we've seen in concept drawings and screenshots that the initial reveal trailer showcased. And I think that's something that's needed, as Pokemon regions typically feature a whole range of different terrains. and a vast amount of different climates. This Pokemon in particular, this Warthog Pokemon, could potentially be found in a more swampy climate, similar to the Great Marsh in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Number 3 on this list, a Tasmanian Devil Pokemon. So we've already spoken about a Pokemon that could potentially be the typical generic Route 1 flying type Pokemon on this list. Let's talk about what could potentially be the typical Route 1 normal type Pokemon. A Pokemon that is similar to Rattata, Sentret, Zigzagoon, you know, those type of Pokemon. This Tasmanian Devil Pokemon that you're currently seeing on screen right now would be so awesome. It would fit the theme that a region based on Hawaii is probably going to set. And a Pokemon based on a Tasmanian Devil is just simply really cool. I'd definitely love to use this thing, so I imagine it would be really speedy with pretty good physical offenses. A Tasmanian Devil is a really cool animal to base a Pokemon off of, and it'd be really cool to see in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Number 2 on this list, a legendary Pokemon that would be based off the Hawaiian Moon God. So with this next idea, I honestly don't have a specific concept design in mind, but in Pokemon Sun and Moon, if it is indeed based off Hawaii, it'd be really cool if the legendary Pokemon were based off the ancient lore of Hawaii, and there was a legendary Pokemon that was based off the Moon God. As I said, no specific concept Pokemon in mind with this idea. I'll just be flashing up multiple ideas off the internet. But it'd be a really cool stark contrast to the final potential Pokemon idea I have for this list. Number 1 on this list, a Pokemon based off the Hawaiian Tiki. The Pokemon I'm most looking forward to in Pokemon Sun and Moon, if these games are indeed based off Hawaii, is the potential of seeing a legendary Pokemon based off the Hawaiian Tiki. We already know of the strange souvenir, an item that is given to us in Pokemon X and Y, an item that is supposed to depict a legendary Pokemon from a region far, far away. And just look at the similarities between this concept design of a Pokemon and the strange souvenir. The strange souvenir, in my eyes, just simply has to be based off a Hawaiian Tiki. If the region for these games are indeed based off Hawaii, it would not surprise me in the slightest if the mascot for one of these games was indeed based off a Hawaiian Tiki. And in my eyes, it's a really, really cool idea for a Pokemon. And this concept Pokemon you're seeing on screen would be the perfect depiction of a Pokemon based off an Hawaiian Tiki. At least in my eyes. I really hope you've enjoyed this fun list of new Pokemon I'd love to see in Pokemon Sun and Moon. In the comments below, let me know which new Pokemon you'd like to see in Pokemon Sun and Moon, either off this list or something that I haven't covered entirely. A like on this video would be really, really appreciated, and feel free to subscribe so you don't miss any more of my future Pokemon Sun and Moon videos, including all my news videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.